Hi, I'm Rachel, and welcome to my May 2023 video for the Would You Read It Challenge, where I am covering the 2019 BookTube Prize Group H. So that's a bit of a mouthful. Let me explain a little further. The Would You Read It Challenge is a meme that was brought to BookTube by @2Brody, and I'll have some information linked down below. The point of the tag is to choose a variety of books that you want to read the very beginning of. Technically, the tag is about reading the first sentence of a book, and I've expanded it to the first couple of paragraphs of a book. And then you ask your audience which books you think you would want to continue on with. And I have been using this tag to slowly make it through the BookTube Prize. So the BookTube Prize is a prize that was brought to BookTube by Robert and Barter Hordes, which started in 2019. And the point is to judge the best in literary fiction and nonfiction, published the year before in English in the US. And it is going on, starting in 2019, and it is going on to this year. Right now we're nearing the end of the second round for 2023 as we're trying to whittle down our long lists into 2 winners. I'm an official judge this year. The first year I participated unofficially, but I love this prize so much, and I can't actually talk about what I'm officially judging because that's part of the rules. So I thought I'd go ahead and do this tag throughout the year so I could at least talk about some of the books that were in the running and now we can talk about. And I can also officially say now that I have read the beginnings of every book in the 2019 BookTube Prize, which isn't, like reading the entire book, I suppose, but it is something. So yeah, that's about the gist of it. We start every BookTube Prize with the Octafinals, which is whittling down the long list of 48 books per division into 8 groups of 6. And in 2019, we were only judging fiction. So this being Group H of fiction, I have now reached the end of 2019. So yes, very exciting. And without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and read you the beginnings of these books and then talk about what I think of them. Okay, so starting with book number 1. Shall we walk back? James asked outside the theater. Chicago, April 2017. The air chilly, the sky cleared off after an evening of rain. We'd left the film half an hour after it began, a poorly written, poorly acted farce. Now the sidewalk was empty. Tiny lights strung between gas lamps and storefronts created a glittery canopy above us. Charming, he'd said when we'd arrived earlier, a part of the city that neither of us had seen. I was still in my clothes from that morning, white sweater, pencil skirt, suede ankle boots with zippers, high-heeled. I'll call a car, I said. Your hotel is on the way to mine. We rode in silence, the wet asphalt glowing red and green at the stoplights. When we pulled up to the hotel, James turned to face me, adjusting his glasses. Okay, he said, text me when you're safely back. He leaned over to brush my cheek with his lips, but when the bellhop opened the rear door, he didn't get out. He sat looking ahead, rubbing a hand up and down his thigh. And that was from Fire Sermon by Jamie Quattro. Book 2. 1981, The Children's Hour. Miss Armstrong? Miss Armstrong, can you hear me? She could, although she didn't seem able to respond. She was badly damaged, broken. She had been hit by a car. It might have been her own fault. She had been distracted. She had lived for so long abroad that she had probably looked the wrong way when she was crossing. Wigmore Street in the midsummer twilight, between the dark and the daylight. Mrs. Armstrong! A policeman or a paramedic? Someone official, someone who must have looked in her bag and found something with her name on it. She had been at a concert. Shostakovich, the string quartet, all 15, parsed out in servings of 3 a day at the Wigmore Hall. It was Wednesday, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. She supposed she would miss the rest of them now. And that was from Transcription by Kate Atkinson. Book 3, The Cottage. It is hard even now to know where to start, for your memory is not a line but a series of baffling circles, drawing in and then receding. At times I come close to violence. If you were the woman you were 16 years ago, I think I could do it, beat the truth clean out of you. Now it is not possible. You are too old to beat anything out of. The memories flash like broken wine glasses in the dark, and then they are gone. There is a denigration at work. You forget where you have left your shoes when they are on your feet. You look at me 5 or 6 times a day to ask who I am or tell me to get out, get out. You want to know how you got here in my house. You forget your name or where the bathroom is. I start keeping clean underwear in the kitchen drawer with the cutlery. When I open the fridge, my laptop is there, the phone, the television remote. You shout for me in the middle of the night, and when I come running, you ask what I'm doing there. You are not Gretel, you say. My daughter Gretel was wild and beautiful. You are not her. And that was from Everything Under by Daisy Johnson. Book 4, Tony Loneman. The drone first came to me in the mirror when I was 6. Earlier that day, my friend Mario, while hanging from the monkey bars in the sand park, said, "Why does your face look like that?" I don't remember what I did. I still don't know. I remember smears of blood on the metal and the taste of metal in my mouth. I remember my grandma Maxine shaking my shoulders in the hall outside the principal's office, my eyes closed, her making this psh sound she always makes when I try to explain myself and shouldn't. I remember her pulling my arm harder than she'd ever pulled it, then the quiet drive home. And that was from There There by Tommy Orange. Book 5. When I saw the squalor they lived in, without any of the conveniences that make our lives better, dirty and seemingly incapable of being clean, I was horrified. When I discovered they had intelligence, I was surprised. When I was told their souls had not been saved, I resolved to do something about it. The Reverend Mother Santaschloss. Jackie was running. There was no thought in his head, only an intense drive to run. There was no sense of getting anywhere, no plan, no destination, no future. All he had was a sense of what was behind, what he was running from. Jackie was running. The heave of his breath, the hammering of his heart were the only sounds in his world. Through the film of tears and stinging, running sweat in his eyes, there was nothing to see, only a gray, green, brown blur of woodland rushing past. Jackie was running. Other days, he had felt joy at the speed, at the staccato rhythm of his feet, but not today. There was no space in his life for anything as abstract, as useless as joy. Only a sense of urgency remained. Jackie was running. And that was from Terra Nullius by Claire G. Coleman. And finally, book number 6, Alice. Tuesdays were market days, not just for me, but for the entire city. The Riff women parading down from the mountain heralding the start, their baskets and carts overflowing with fruits and vegetables, their donkeys flanking them on either side. In response, Tangier came alive. Crowds emerged, the streets flooded with men and women, foreigners and locals alike, pointing and ordering, arguing and bartering, exchanging coin for a bit of this, a bit of that. The sun seemed somehow brighter on those days, hotter, the scorch of it burning the nape of my neck. And that was from Tangerine by Christine Mangan. Okay, well, the first thing I'll say is that out of these 6 books, one of them actually made it all the way from the beginning, the Octafinals, the first round, into the 4th round, the finals, although it didn't medal, it didn't make, places 1 through 3. But it was There by Tommy Orange, and I thought this was okay. It kind of starts with a bang. We have what seems to be an altercation, an offense between 2 people, 2 young children, it seems like, perhaps on a playground. There were monkey bars, there was a principal's office, there was a upset grandmother, a tense drive home. So, we're starting with that bang. I thought it was okay. But probably not my favorite. like the quietness, I suppose, of book one of Fire Sermon. You know, this, you know, quiet excursion, this, you know, outing that, you know, at a movie that for, you know, whatever reason didn't actually last too long. I guess they didn't like the movie. There's something kind of illicit about it because these two people are staying in different hotels. But you know, there's some sort of tension between them. The man doesn't get out at his hotel. He's rubbing his thigh. I don't know. I'm maybe making some assumptions in my head from there. The one thing I really didn't like about this, I have a nitpick about people who don't use quotation marks for dialogue, but other than that, I thought it flowed pretty nicely. I also, you know, kind of like the transcription. You know, it's another one of those start with a bang. I mean, this woman is hit by a car. My goodness. I should say I have read none of these books, so I'm just spitballing here. So I only know what I've just read to you. And we're just sort of getting this quick introduction to this character, Miss Armstrong, who seems to be in distress. You know, there's a official paramedic or policeman trying to make sure she's okay, and we're just getting a little bit of brief background that she was at a at a concert, and she, you know, was hit by a car, and, you know, had previously lived abroad, and that's, you know, all we get from that. I really like book three too. It's actually very almost unsettling because, well, it's this third person thing, so that makes it intimate. I feel like there's a hint of domestic violence that the I character is doing to the you character, or has done in the past. Like he says, if it were 16 years ago, I could have hit you. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? But now this person seems to be suffering from dementia, perhaps, and is losing her memories. And there's a lot of just very descriptive, nice detail about what that entails in their lives. And there's more unsettling aspects, like, you know, sometimes she's screaming at him to get out, which could be part of the confusion, but could also be the confusion coupled with, you know, a bad relationship. And then there's a surprising twist at the end. I thought, like, I don't know, you know, all of this sort of screams to me a marriage. But at the end, there's an indication, I don't know, that is this his daughter, which makes it even more shocking because that would be a younger person having dementia. But obviously, I just have a lot of questions, and probably I'm wrong about, you know, things. Often, you know, you can't tell much from this, but, you know, I do really like that unsettling aspect. And then when it comes to the last two books, they probably are my least favorites. The book five is really just a long description of someone running. I mean, it's like we start with this quote, which really is, you know, distancing from the story. Like a quote really doesn't, you know, bring you into a story and the action. And then the second quote is, not quote, but first paragraph is technically all action, but we don't get much else other than, I mean, even explicitly it says basically, I am so in the moment that I can't think about anything else. So basically the whole sentence, the whole paragraph, including several repeating sentences, is Jackie is running, and we get very little other than that. So it's just not that enticing to me. And then finally, with Tangerine, I mean, I guess it's okay. It's just a description of market day, and, you know, it's all just physical description, and only at the very end, I feel like, do you get a little bit of a character introduction with the burning of the nape of the neck, which is not much about the character, but it is about how the environment is affecting the character. I feel like if you know the place setting, that'll be an automatic interest or intrigue to get into the story, which, I don't know, for me it doesn't really work, but, you know, it could work, I suppose. I mean, if I were to actually pick up this book, or maybe even any of these books, I probably would continue, just because I rarely DNF things. But I would say probably, you know, the unsettlingness of everything under, or I don't know, just the flow of Fire Sermon are the ones that intrigue me the most personally. Neither of them made it to the finals, so I don't know how that means the rest of the book went for the judges, but there we have it. Those are my thoughts. I'd be curious to hear yours, especially if you've actually read these books and have more of an understanding of what they're about. So that about covers it for me, and the final thing I'll do is leave Goodreads links for all of these books listed down below if you'd like more information, and also I'll leave information to the BookTube Prize if you'd like to learn more about that. Yes, again, we are nearing the end this year of round 2. I've read 5 of the books on my ballot now, and I have 1 more left to go, so feeling pretty optimistic that I don't have to rush too much at the end. I guess we'll see. I do have plenty of other reading I want to get to as well this month, you know, as you do. But in the meantime, another thing I want to do on this channel pretty imminently is my monthly AuthorTube video, which is part of the Author's Answer series started by J.D. Archer, where he asked his writing group reading and writing related questions, and I will be taking part in that in my next video, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I hope my fellow BookTube Prize judges are doing well with their reading and enjoying what they're reading, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts after the quarterfinals end. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.